Hello everyone. So today is day one of our Live One challenge. I know a lot of you posted on my challenge from earlier today when I was in the airport. And today for me is a really easy to be grateful. I'll just give you a little bit of a sneak peek where I'm at. I right now am in Cancun, Mexico. I won an incentive trip that doTERRA does every year. Usually the competition runs from like March to July, and there are about 230 people from doTERRA that won to be able to go on this trip. And there's about 500 people here. Some people bought the tickets to come, so it's pretty amazing. I'm in an all-inclusive resort and it's like kind of unreal. So anyways, like I said, just a really easy day for me to be grateful. But I've also had my fair share, especially this last half a year, of things that are harder to be grateful through. So anyways, I'm going to jump into my content in 1 second here, but I'm guessing that there will be some of you that would like just a little sneak peek. So I'm just going to show you the view out our window. So right out there is the ocean and there's tons of buildings. And then here is a giant old jacuzzi in the middle of our room. I'm staying with a random roommate through doTERRA that they set me up for. Her name is Abigail and I'm actually excited to get to know her, but I don't know that I want to take a little jacuzzi thing in the middle of the room. Anyways, here's the rest of the room. So like I said, it's pretty amazing, and here am I with my notes. And I'm excited to share with you today about just a gratitude practice and making this a regular part of your life. If you're like me, it doesn't come natural to just constantly be grateful for things. It's a lot easier for me to just ruminate on all of the things, all of the things that are not going the way I'd hoped for, or that are just really frustrating. Anybody else with me? Is it hard for you? Especially like in certain seasons when it just seems like you get knocked down time and time again. That's literally what we're just coming out of. We had a really rough last season. It's like just when you start to feel like, oh, like I can be in a good mindset right now, then something else happens. Apparently I'm the only one. Nobody's agreeing. Just kidding. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. So anyways, the definition for gratitude is specifically being appreciative of benefits that you've received. And I love this quote. If a fellow isn't thankful for what he's got, he isn't likely to be thankful for what he's going to get. Frank A. Clark. So first I wanted to start off by talking about a few of the benefits of being grateful on a regular basis. And I'm not talking about being grateful and just being peppy and like always being excited about everything and not being real, because if you guys know me, like I'm real, like I'm not afraid to share that life gets hard sometimes. That's just the reality. But what I am talking about is this deep internal peace and just joy and contentment in what is going on in your life right now, even if it's not perfect and ideal. Life just really, it's not really perfect and ideal. Even right now, while I'm at this beautiful resort, my little baby's at home, and like I'm a mama, so I've been struggling all day just missing him, and I know that seems silly, but it'll probably get easier as I go in, but yeah, you just miss them. So there's always going to be things that are not ideal. But anyways, some of the reasons why a gratitude practice is going to be so valuable for your life is, number one, it changes your perspective. And I think we all have experienced this when basically you're shifting your perspective, because if you're constantly staring at the negative and what needs to be fixed and what needs to go wrong and this person did this to you and all these things that are going on, you're missing everything that's over here that's good. So gratitude really helps us to help shift our hearts. Hi. My roommate's here, so I'm just gonna, yes I am live if you want to come say hi. Anyway, so gratitude helps shift our heart to those things that are there, but a lot of times we just miss them if we're constantly focusing on the negative that's there. So with that shift, when we really start focusing on things that we're grateful for, it also causes a change in us physiologically. And there's all sorts of science out there about this, but I think we all just know innately that when you're focusing on the bad all the time, cortisol is going to be high in your body. You're going to be causing all sorts of physical stress in your body. Your digestive tract doesn't work as well. You'll start to get headaches. You're not going to feel great. People that are focusing on the negative, their immune systems are down. It's easier for them to get sick. Whereas someone who is focusing and keeping their eyes focused on those grateful, like the blessings that we all have in life, then you're like everything's going to change. Like I said, your immune system's going to be higher, your hormones are going to be healthier, you're going to sleep better at night, even like your heartbeat, all of those things, your breathing is going to be deeper, you're going to get more oxygen to your cells, so it changes your physiology. Number 3, it opens your heart for receiving. And I think the quote that I shared earlier really is just, it really makes that point well. It says, I'll read it again. If a fellow isn't thankful for what he's got, he isn't likely to be thankful for what he's going to get. And the reality is, I think sometimes we're not even ready to receive the goodness that's right in front of us because we're so stuck on the negative. And so, yeah, I want to be open for the gifts that are right there in front of me. I don't want to be stuck in the negative. So anyways, I think when we get in this negative cycle, a lot of times we'll have these high expectations of exactly how it has to go, and then we end up being disappointed. Whereas if we're not like getting wrapped up in exactly how it has to go, and we just are grateful for what we get, our heart is filled to overflow, and we're able to give to other people too. So really all of this leads to my 4th point, which is that gratefulness leads us to live a life of abundance. And I don't mean abundance like we have everything we want, but it's like peace in our heart that we have what we need, and we are ready to give, we're ready to serve because we feel abundance. We feel it. We know it's true in our heart that we have everything that we need and more. Whereas if we're constantly focused on the negative, we're going to have a mindset of scarcity, and we're going to constantly be feeling like we need that next thing to make us feel joy or make us feel happy, and that's just not true. And then lastly, I also think when we focus on things that we have right in front of us to be grateful for, it leads us to have strength or hope to look for a solution. So an example is, this last season was a little bit stretching for my husband financially. We had a lot of different things coming at us. And one thing that I did was I took my planner. It's really just a journal, and I use it as a planner. But this isn't completed. I hope to add more to it. But if you can see it, right up here, I wrote a couple situations on there, and then I flipped them in my mindset. So I wrote financial stretches, and then obviously there's stress that you think about when you think about financial stresses. Like, it just makes you stressed out. But I flipped it in my mind, and I said, this season is helping us reprioritize what's important to spend money on, and reprioritize the importance of giving to people. Because I think we had lost our heart to, like, we were giving, but to really, really give and stretch. Because we so often have saw that when we give financially, the Lord ends up giving us way more back, whether it's just joy in our hearts, or He ends up providing for needs that we have, like literal needs, like we have to buy something, it's a need, He ends up providing for. And there's so much joy that comes with that, and just seeing Him provide. So anyways, my point in that is that when we take situations that are even hard and we flip them to be grateful and look for the good that can come from that situation and speak that truth over it, we're going to find strength and hope to look for the situation or the solution that we can have in that situation. So next I wanted to share some examples of how you can practice gratitude on a daily basis. And for me, I've done this in a variety of ways. So there's not a one size fits all. I really think it's even listening to what you need in a certain season, and it is probably different for everybody because we all have different personalities. So number 1, this is a pretty common one. You can have a gratitude journal and write down 5 things every morning, or some people like to do every night. I think morning is better because for me it helps switch my mindset or my state right away in the morning. But write down 5 things that you're thankful for. Or if you're like me, 5 things is great, but what I found was that if I started to write down one thing that I was grateful for, but then write down 2 to 3 sentences about why I was thankful for it, it really helps that gratitude to go deeper in my heart instead of just like a superficial, like I'm thankful for my house, I'm thankful for my family, but like allowing it to go deeper, like why am I thankful for my family? Why am I thankful for my house? So those are two examples. And then I had heard a woman speak once, a mother, and she shared a couple acronyms that they said around their house. And I love these because they're funny, but they also just acknowledge that life isn't perfect, but we don't have to have a bad attitude about it. So one thing that they would say on a consistent basis was POL, to each other. So like it stands for part of life. So for instance, if a child was complaining, oh, I have to make my bed, I hate making my bed, obviously that's not a grateful heart. They would just say, POL, part of life, you just have to make your bed, too bad. Or the other one that they did was BTN, which is better than nothing, which is so true. And I feel like both of these are just like kind of funny statements, but I do think that they help just like lighten the mood and help acknowledge that the reality is what we have is more than enough. Better than nothing, it's more than enough. So anyways, having those little things that you can say back and forth in jest as a family that just reminds each other that we don't need to be spinning these negative circles, I think is something that's helpful too. I already shared about doing the mindset shift, and so I shared with you my example of financial stresses for us. So what I encourage you to do is, if you feel like you're just in one of those sucky situations, just take a piece of paper and write down all the things that are just weighing on you, and just take some time to really do whatever you need. For me, it would be pray over those things and start to ask God to bring hope to me in those situations. What could He bring out of it? Where is the good in this? And how can I focus on that? Like, even if it's a really stinky situation, how is it making me into a better person that's more compassionate towards other people? Something along those lines. I think something like that, a long list, can be really, really powerful during seasons that are hard. And even being able to go back to that too, because if you're like me, you need reminders. So next, I had one more example, but my notes are getting a little squished. One other example, this is a little bit of meditation. So if you've never practiced meditation before, it's pretty amazing. I'm not an expert in it, but I've been reading in this book called Celebration of Spiritual Disciplines by Richard Foster, and it's really great. And he talks about hands down, hands up. So simply in the morning, putting your hands down or your palms down and just letting go of all those things that are weighing on you, those negative things that are pulling you down, processing through those, like I'm letting go of my frustration at work, I'm letting go of my anger towards this person, I'm letting go of on and on and on. And then you take some space, you flip your hands, you literally change your posture to receive. And you start receiving peace from, well, for me, I would receive peace from the Lord. Asking for joy for Him and contentment in this season and a heart of gratitude and whatever else means something to you, just going through those things. And then finally, my up level step of the day would be when you're doing these things, whether it's writing in your journal or meditating or writing a whole list of things that you need to create a mindset shift on, take an oil and diffuse it in your room. Some of my favorites would be cheer or peace. Peace is one of my favorites. Wild orange is amazing. Elevation is amazing. And the cool thing about these oils is what they're going to do is they're literally you're going to smell them in. They get up to your brain, to your limbic system that controls emotion. And your body is going to start creating like a physical pathway that it's used to on repeat every single time you do that gratitude practice. Because the reality is we have to retrain our brains to think from a positive perspective instead of thinking negatively. A lot of these things like we have done since we were young. So this is going to be a battle some days. It just will be. And so having a tool like an essential oil that can literally impact the physiology of your brain and you're smelling it, An example of what I'm talking about science-wise would be like sometimes you smell, like for me, I smell cheesecake, and that's something that I associate with Christmas at my family's house. My mom made cheesecake every year for Christmas when we had extended family over, and that brings positive memories back for me. I love it. Whereas some people have certain smells that will elicit a negative response in them, and they almost feel tense just even smelling that. So the same goes for oils. They're going to create that pathway where our body remembers the state we are in when we are practicing gratitude. And then you can use those oils throughout the day to help bring you back to that. And for me, sometimes just as a mom, I'll use oils in the morning when I'm doing my gratitude or my time with the Lord, time in the Word, whatever I'm doing, journaling. And then I pull out those same oils in moments where my son is teething and won't take a nap, and I have 10 million things on my list to do, and I am suddenly not in my gratitude state anymore. So I will take my oils, put them in my hands, deep breath, positive affirmation, and I can just relax. So anyways, I hope that gives you some good ideas. Today's mini challenge. Oh, one other thing I wanted to share. If any of you are fans of Joyce Meyers, she just has some funny things that she says. And today I was listening to an audiobook while I was traveling, and one thing she said was, people can catch a disease, but you can't catch health. How true is that? In the same ways, you can't catch good thinking, but you can choose it. So I hope that inspires you to choose positive thinking, choose gratitude today, choose to receive, choose to overflow and be a blessing to other people, not because life is perfect right now, but because what we have, we're prepared for, like we're ready for, and God's given us what we need. So anyways, our mini challenge for today, I want you to write down one person that you're grateful for, and then do something to show them gratitude. So an overflow of gratitude. For me, this is like the pay it forward idea. There's been times before where I'm just in like a dumpy mood, so I'll just do something sweet for my husband that I wouldn't normally do, and it's amazing how making his day special can change mine. So you can do something as simple as sending that person a text. Or you could, like I've spontaneously brought my husband one of his favorite drinks. Or you can write them a note, or you can plan a special time together where you can have a meal together that they really enjoy, or whatever it is. It can be, like I said, as simple as sending a text. It doesn't have to be complicated. So anyways, when you're done with that challenge, what I want you to do is take a picture of the piece of paper or notebook where you're gonna write down the person that you're grateful for and why you're grateful for them. So take a picture of that. If you want to try to make it blurry so people can't see the name, that's fine, but whatever. I don't think anybody cares. So take a picture of that after you've done it, and then post it in the comments of this video with a description of what you did to love on that person and extend your gratitude to them. And just as a reminder, you don't have to complete the challenge immediately today. You can post it anytime in the next 2 weeks, but just remember the challenges are going to be building up. The challenges are typically going to be on the first half of the day. I was just traveling all day until I literally got here 10 minutes before I popped on this video. So thanks everybody for joining today. I'm excited to practice gratitude with you all. And one other reminder, you also do not need to participate in all of the challenges, because we will do a lot of mini challenges. And it might be a lot if you try to take them all on, and we don't want you to experience a bunch of stress because you're trying to do them all. We more so just want to give you a good idea of areas that you can start setting new intentions in 2017 for your health. And so that being said, whoever does the most challenges will get the most points and win the athlete's kit. So do whatever you're ready for, but either way, I think you'll all be blessed by the amazing people that are going to be joining us on this challenge. I'm so excited for Laura, Londa, and Melissa to share with us along the way. Thanks for hopping on today, and I hope you have a great day. See you guys.